AskReddi by additional option 918. What was very popular in the 2020 pandemic but now it's pretty much dead? People not being allowed to come to work sick. I was really hoping that one would stick around. I remember a couple of times after COVID when I was just miserably sick but it wasn't COVID. I got tested to be sure, but still called out of work and my boss was like, "But I thought you tested negative." I was like, "Yeah, no COVID, just sick and nasty and didn't sleep last night, not gonna make it." He was so confused and I was like, "Yeah, no, before COVID there were still such things as sick days, so I'm taking one of those." Carry out cocktails. It got turned into a permanent law where I live. It's nice, but I don't get them that often anymore. Little bottles of hand sanitizer everywhere. Hand sanitizer made by distilleries that smelled like bad booze. That shit was nasty. Zoom trivia nights with your friends. Zoom Jackbox was fun as hell. Fist fights over toilet paper. I still like having fist fights over TP. I'll never let that tradition fade away. Tiger King. I dated one of his lawyer's daughters for a brief moment. Dropped her off after dinner one night and there was a Dodge Challenger with a Tiger King wrap in their driveway. I asked if her family was that big of fans of the show and she explained the situation. No traffic. Now there's more than before the pandemic. Bro, you should see airports. It's absolutely bonkers. I remember regularly flying routes that were 80%ish booked and the overbookings were rare outside of holidays. Hell, I flew SFO lax once on a near empty flight in 2018. Now everything is overbooked. Gates are slammed. Delays out the butts. Lines out the door. Among Us. I played Among Us with Lando Norris, McLaren F1 driver, and Thibaut Courtois, Real Madrid and AMP, Belgian goalkeeper, during the COVID lockdown. They are still in my Discord server. I'm not even sure lockdown really happened. Adopting dogs, cats. The post-plague abandonment rate is appalling. I wish it hadn't been so predictable too. Animal Crossing New Horizon. I think that's more down to Nintendo pretty much grinding everything to halt after the expansion. No new content made it boring. Low interest mortgages. Cheering for frontline workers at 7 PM. Staying home. Here, people banged pots and pans for about 10 minutes. Gardening. It didn't work out. I couldn't even grow potatoes. Hey, don't beat yourself up. We can't all be Mark Watney. Wearing masks when walking into a bank. I laughed at the absurdity of this when I first did it. It felt so weird. Making bread. I started making sourdough during the pandemic. And I'm still making sourdough and other bread. I never buy bread anymore. Home gyms. Weights on the aftermarket exploded in price, but after COVID passed, prices returned to normal and a lot of people started selling their equipment. I still work out in my garage. I couldn't imagine leaving the house for the gym. Zoom calls with friends and beer. Maybe it's too specific, but after pandemic, a lot of friends moved to suburbs, so we didn't meet up as often, but nobody wants to do Zoom call with a couple of brews. People aren't completely starved of social interaction anymore. Plants. Buying so many plants. Yes, I had a couple rare plants and made thousands of dollars selling cuttings of them during the first couple years of the pandemic. Totally batshit. Prices went back down and now my plants are enjoying retirement. Lucky bastards. Social distancing. People stayed away from me in the stores. Now they are back to breathing on my neck while in line because they don't believe in personal space. I wish we'd retained some of the hygiene stuff. Staying a reasonable distance away isn't a breach of personal choice. It's not a hardship to give a little room where possible. Like, I don't think everyone should be forced to do COVID rules forever, but also if you have a cough and you have to go to the store, maybe stay away from people, cover your mouth and don't fucking cough on them. I actually find it really disappointing that the general public learned nothing from all of this. We could have had less colds, but no, back to plague winters. Banana bread. Only for me, but the concept of second coffee. In normal life, me and my partner have one coffee in the morning before leaving for work. But when we were locked down and adjusting to that reality, one of us suggested a second coffee, which sounds stupid, but to us it was like, wait, we can do that, and it felt revolutionary. Every morning for months we'd have second coffee and chat for an hour or so. It really helped us during that time. We did something similar, but we called it breakfast wine. The Joe Exotic versus Carol Baskin debates. He never financially recovered from it. Hand sanitizer. Please refill hand sanitizer dispensers. I still like to use them. When you press them and then realize they're empty. Great, now my hands are even dirtier than before. Live web streamed concerts. AARP sponsored Everclear, and later Melissa Etheridge. I wanted to die. If you are too young to know why that hurt my heart, enjoy it while it lasts. The general population giving a shit about teachers and nurses. As a teacher, I can tell you that never was true. Going to the grocery store without your whole damn family. One-way grocery aisles. Did anyone follow those to begin with? Zoom reunions of casts from TV shows. Now they all have podcasts. Emails signed off with "stay safe." I need to go back to "take care" as a standard farewell. It has the same heartwarming connotations but without the "you're in danger" context. Accidentally choking on your spit in Walmart and having to exclaim, "I do not have COVID-19, I have merely choked on mine saliva." I was at a liquor store. Maybe half a dozen people waiting in line, doing the 6-foot thing. One woman starts coughing and wow, I could all of a sudden feel that tension. She had to say, "It's not covered, I'm a smoker, I do it a lot." Part of me remembers she wasn't covering her mouth, so that just added to it. Wordle. Thank you for reminding me to do today's Wordle, lol. Warzone. As a 30-year-old, it was like being put into a timer machine. I got like a solid year of feeling like I was in high school again, playing Warzone from 6 PM to AM nearly every day. Van life. The number of decked out vans less than 3 years old that are for sale online is pretty incredible. It seems the honeymoon period of van life has worn off. Every so often our van dwellers has this post saying, "I thought this is gonna be cool, but I'm basically homeless now." Dalgona coffee. Empty highways to just having relaxing evening drives on with gas getting down to $1.11 gal for 87 octane in my area. My dad and I were on the road during the pandemic delivering agricultural stuff. We build and deliver custom chicken coops for backyard farmers. We were staying in 40.00 Marriotts and paying $1.50 for gas, not a car in sight. It was amazing. Chris and Andrew Cuomo. I still remember Cuomosexuals and people wanting Andrew Cuomo to run for president in 2020. My grandma. Oof, same. Supporting small businesses. We all just went right back to Walmart. I think inflation drove this. Shop local. Sounds good. Until you factor in locals usually have to charge more to begin with, plus they needed to increase costs because inflation. Inflation affected Walmart too, but because they save so much money by buying their products in bulk, you in turn can save more. In short, I guess, more people was just doing what they had to so they could get by. Hey, I don't think it was popular, but I really liked social distancing. Stay back 6 foot, thank you very much. Honestly, staying home for that year had its ups and downs. I enjoyed it for the most part though. Respecting teachers. Staying at home and enjoying time off. Something I never got to enjoy during the pandemic. Everyone was making bread, learning new hobbies, and starting home businesses, but I was, and still am technically, an essential worker, and considering I didn't have a huge social life outside of work, life basically just went on as normal for me. Only difference was I wore a mask and stopped taking public transportation for a while. I'm extremely grateful that I got to continue earning an income and that no one I knew was impacted by the virus, but always wished I had that free time to enjoy some me time. Clean air. Face shields. Goddamn face shields. Peloton. Common courtesy. Just 2 more weeks to flatten the curve. Stay home, save lives. Those nightly updates from politicians and scientists where everyone became a statistician all of a sudden. WFH, CII. Cheap flights. The clean air, since car pollution was pretty much gone. Now that RTO is happening, the air is once again smoggy. Robin Hood investing by novices with stimulus checks and too much time on their hands.